This is the Eagle's Nest, and I'm your host, Jeff Porcaro. And today we have with us our guest, Hampton Bassett. And Hampton, go ahead and tell us what sports you play and what positions and what year you are in school.
All right. Yeah, like you said, my name's Hampton Bassett. I'm a senior and I'm a central midfielder on the soccer team.
Great. Um, Appreciate you joining us today. And I want to ask you, what have you been doing with yourself during this time where you've been doing homeschool and not being able to be out into practices and games
Right.
and stuff?
Um, well, I really like the outdoors, so I've got a little head start on my hiking that I usually do during the summer. I've had a lot of free time to do some of that. And then when I'm not doing that, I'm just spending a lot of time at home with my family, doing puzzles or games or whatever's around the house.
All right, that's great. So a lot of people during this time are, catching movies and other things. And one of the questions I've been talking to a lot of the athletes about is, what is your favorite sports themed movie and why?
Okay. Um, well, I like to, I don't know. There's two that I'm thinking of. So the first one is probably Benchwarmers. I like comedies. That's a good one. That one makes me laugh a lot. But then another one that's probably more serious. It's called Free Solo. It's a rock climbing documentary, and that one was just really cool. So I like those ones.
That's great. Those are some great options. Definitely, bench warmers is
Yeah,
on the top of my list as
yeah.
well. That's great. I love the comedies as well. So, if I had to ask you, who is your favorite sports hero and why, who would that be?
Um, the first person that comes to mind is probably John Stockton. I play soccer, so I'm not a basketball player, but I do enjoy it. And I just like John Stockton because one, he's a Utah legend, so that's that. And also just because the way he played, he was a pass first kind of guy, which is kind of like what my soccer play style is. He was just kind of consistent, did what he had to for the team, and I feel like he's kind of underrated, but I really like him.
That's great. And yeah, he definitely did have a great history and career of being a top assist leader.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
definitely,
Not quite old enough to be able to see him play, but seen a lot of
yeah,
highlights.
yeah, it was good. A lot of good stuff. So, um, as you get out and compete and get ready for some of the games that you guys have, what do you kind of do to get into the zone of the game and kind of get into the flow of the game? What do you use as techniques to get rid of the butterflies?
Um, so to get rid of the butterflies, um, really, I feel like the best thing I can do, one of the only things I can do is just kind of play. Like a lot of time, it's just kind of like best to just get in there and start playing and realize that it's all okay. It's just something that I've done plenty of times before. Just, I feel like what I usually do is I just kind of think in my head, just remind myself and kind of, what's the word, kind of rethink instead of thinking that I'm nervous. I just kind of channel that into energy, I guess. Try to do it that way.
All right, and a lot of that work of practice and drills and everything kind of comes into play when you're in the zone. What
Right.
what do you and your teammates do to kind of make the practice fun and make the drills fun?
Um, well, first off, I guess it's already pretty fun just playing a game that you love and knowing that you're there with all those guys who kind of feel the same way about the game. That's fun. But also, just a lot of the guys on the soccer team are just crazy, crazy guys. There's some characters on the team, so just kind of hanging out with them, having that mix of personalities is pretty fun.
All right. Um, what age were you when you started playing soccer?
So I played just like Spanish Fork Rec League when I was pretty young. I don't know the exact age. I'd probably say 5. And I started playing club when I was 8, I believe. It was third grade. So it's been a while.
So that's a lot of years of playing out there. And throughout all those years, what would you say is your favorite memory from playing?
Um, hmm. I can't remember all of them, but one that was kind of recently was last year during the high school season. We were playing up in Heber at Wasatch, and to make a long story short, there was an incident where two of their players ended up colliding into each other, and they had to call an ambulance. There was a big stoppage, but the Wasatch parents thought that it was our fault, and there was just a lot of trash talk. The crowd was really into it. It just got pretty heated for a second, and then right when the game started going again, we ended up scoring what would end up being the game-winning goal, and it was just kind of just a high-energy game that was really fun to play in.
Yeah, those always are when there's a lot of that stress and the game is right
Right?
there on the line for sure.
Yeah.
So in all those years of playing, what is your favorite venue or place that you've actually played soccer?
Um. Hmm. I like playing on turf, on artificial surfaces. So I'd have to say either um, St. George, which is where we do our preseason. They have a lot of nice fields down there. Or in club, I've been able to play a couple tournaments down in Las Vegas, and I like playing down there. Those are usually pretty good tournaments, so it's a nice atmosphere.
Yeah. And it's probably pretty warm too.
Yeah,
Soccer
yeah,
being spring sport, a lot of your games are in the rain or snow or
yeah, yeah, for sure.
definitely. All right. So what are you looking to do after you get out of high school and after we graduate and all of this craziness is over? What are you looking to do?
This fall, I'm planning on serving a mission for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And after that, I'm either choosing. Right now, I haven't decided between Utah State or BYU yet, but those are the two universities I'm looking at going to. And that's about as far ahead as I've thought. I'm not sure what I want to do for a job or a major or anything yet, but hopefully I'll figure that out.
That's great. And you got time to think about that,
Right.
definitely. So
Yeah.
and one of the last things I'd like to ask you is what words of wisdom or advice would you give to your fellow teammates or those who are kind of following behind you?
Um, Probably just put in the work because it's easy to like just get caught up in having fun. And I know this year our coaches made us do a lot of conditioning, which we didn't really end up playing. So it might seem like it wasn't worth it, but just like putting in the work before the season, it pays off during the games. And while it might not be super fun in the moment, it's nice to be in good shape and be ready to play.
Definitely. That's some great advice. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us today and appreciate you volunteering to come in and talk with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So, again, we've been talking with Maple Mountain soccer player Hampton Bassett, and we want you all to follow along and uh, join us on our many social media platforms. We have YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all are Maple Mountain Sports, and we have Twitter is Maple MTN Sports. And if you can go ahead and give us a like, a follow, a subscribe, any of those kind of things, we would appreciate it. And I just want to thank everyone for joining us. I'm your host, Jeff Porcaro, and this is the Eagle's Nest.